Tonight, we're connecting the dots between Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book, billionaire donors, and the attack ads trying to silence members of Congress. This isn't rumor, it's coming straight from the mouths of lawmakers on both sides. This is not a partisan issue. We'll start with Congressman Thomas Massie. He's not just calling for the release of every Epstein file, he's naming billionaires that are funding pushback on him in any way. There's something really strange about Paulson for me, because Paulson has backed Trump for over $100 million in political lifetime for Trump. And the thing is, he's deployed over $2 million against Massie just in this most recent run. Why is it that the biggest political donor for Donald Trump is deploying so much capital against Thomas Massie, who's trying to bring out the Epstein list and all the information within, and Trump is over here calling it a hoax? Tell me what the hell is up with that. John Paulson is one of these people who is also one of Trump, if not Trump's biggest donor. John Paulson might not ring a bell, but it will when I tell you that he was the guy known for the Big Short. 2007 housing crash with subprime mortgage-backed securities. He shorted the market, made over $1 billion, got sued, paid almost $500 million in reparations, and he's got his hands all inside the political field, also representing pro-Israel and AIPAC lobby interests.
One of the billionaires who's running $2 million of ads in my district since I started this effort, his name is John Paulson. He's a hedge fund manager and a major donor to the Republican Party, a major donor to the Speaker of the House, a major donor to the president's campaign, and he's in Epstein's Black Book. Now, that's public, but that's indicative of the types of people who may be implicated or just embarrassed by a complete release of these files.
So that's John Paulson, the Epstein Black Book, and literally $4 billion actually in profits off of the housing crash. $100 million to Trump, $50 million last year, and suddenly just dropping millions to take out Massie for demanding transparency. This isn't right. This is how the billionaire protection racket works.
Not only are you now at odds with the president and his White House over what was initially their position, as you noted. I mean, Pam Bondi made multiple public statements. She was on Fox News almost every day promising the release and saying there were stacks of papers on her desk. But now the Trump White House has basically backed a super PAC to remove you from office, and it's apparently funded by prominent Jewish funders in the GOP. Why would Miriam Adelson and Paul Singer donate millions of dollars to try to oust you? They try to say it's about voting against the big, beautiful bill. Is it perhaps related to the Epstein files?
Well, Miriam Adelson and Paul Singer, I don't know if they have a connection to Epstein, but the third billionaire, John Paulson, is in Epstein's Black Book. Now, the Black Book isn't the Epstein list. That's just a list of people that Epstein knew and knew their phone numbers and thought it was helpful to keep them handy. So one of the billionaires who's running millions of dollars of ads against me in Kentucky 8 months before even my primary election is in Epstein's Black Book. I think there's some motivation there, but the one thing that all three of these billionaire donors have in common is that they're upset that I don't vote for foreign aid to Israel and that I've opposed Israel's war in Gaza, and they want complete compliance with AIPAC's positions here in Congress. I also don't allow AIPAC in my office. For several years I haven't, once they started attacking me, and I never did attack them in the beginning. I just didn't vote for foreign aid. I had a consistent policy. I didn't have any special policy for Israel. I've opposed all the wars in the Middle East. I've opposed wasting our money, our tax dollars, and I'm ethically opposed, morally opposed to the war that's going on in Gaza right now.
Marjorie Taylor Greene calls out the foreign lobby machine.
So I would love to know what they do. Like, they seem to be coming at me from a number of ways, which only really kind of raises my hackles. Like, I'm not going. I'm going to stay right here. I can cover this conflict from here, and I don't wish to be wooed by any side. I actually don't wish to be persuaded.
Have you been invited by any other foreign country?
No.
Okay, that's the part, right? So we have tons of lobbyists foreign countries lobbyists that come to Washington, D.C. Pretty much every country has some sort of representative. They have an ambassador they send to Washington. It's naturally in their interest. We can understand that. They also are required to register under FARA. It's a law. They have to register as a foreign agent, a foreign lobbyist. That is required. It's extremely important. Here's the difference with AIPAC. AIPAC is not registered under FARA, under this law that requires anyone coming to lobby a member of Congress or a senator or department of the government and the federal government on behalf of another country. So AIPAC argues, oh, but we're Americans. Yes, they are Americans, but they are coming to Congress and to the federal government asking on behalf of the country of Israel. And I fully agree with you, Megan. We are not against Israel. We are all for their right to defend themselves, just as we are for any Jewish person on campus. Just as I think we could talk about young white males in high school that are constantly getting beat up.
Yeah.
Guess what? They should have a right to defend themselves too, and people should stand up for them as well. We think anybody that is a victim should be able to defend themselves.
This is the part that nobody in Congress wants to say out loud. Every foreign lobby has to register as a foreign agent under the U.S. law. China does, Russia does, even tiny countries most Americans can't even find on a map. But AIPAC, they get a hall pass. They say we're Americans while openly lobbying for another government's interests. The thing is, they do it while funneling billions and billions, tens of billions, now over time hundreds of billions of our hard-earned tax dollars overseas to them every single year. Now, you don't have to be left or right to get how that's the problem. Americans can't afford health care. Even me, myself, has run into that issue in the past. College, it's a scam nowadays. That's the meta. A home, forget about it. Yet we've got lobbyists making sure Israel, with a stronger economy and less debt than the US, gets $3.8 billion on paper, effectively, with no questions asked. This isn't, especially to the United States American people, this isn't about being pro or anti-Israel. It's about whether Congress works for the American people and if we're actually America first, or whether billionaire donors and lobbyists have built an actual system to where our leaders are effectively agents of someone else's agenda. And when you see John Paulson, Epstein's Black Book billionaire, dropping millions into ads on Thomas Massie, the one guy calling this all out, you must realize this isn't foreign policy. It's foreign control. Now on to all this BS about Trump calling this a hoax. What in the heck is going on? I feel like I'm living in an alternate dimension.
From what I understand, thousands of pages of documents have been given, but it's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president.
It's not a hoax. That's something that needs to be investigated, and everyone should be pounding the table on this. This one isn't hard and it's not complicated. And it's why Republican Congressman Thomas Massie is leading the revolt on this against Trump. As we speak, rallying Republicans to break with Trump and support Massie's movement to force a vote that would allow for releasing every single Epstein document that exists.
I care most about the policy here, not the politics of it. But politically, it's really bad for Republicans. They should just have this vote and put it behind them. 80% of Republicans, it's not just independents and Democrats who want these files released. 80% of Republicans support releasing these files. So they're at odds with our base right now, and particularly the MAGA base.
If Massie can get 2 more Republicans to join him, he can force the vote on his bill. It is a vote that Trump right now is scrambling to kill.
Can somebody answer me this? Why the heck is Trump trying to kill the bill for Epstein transparency? Why? There's only a few reasons I can think of. In the comments, I want to know where you think Trump is fighting this bill.
The White House today actually calling Massie's measure, quote, a very hostile act to this administration. Unclear why they would want to make keeping secrets on Epstein being for their administration, but there you have it.
Even if you look at D.C. right now, D.C., It's a totally safe zone. It's called a safe zone. That's a term. It's a term of art. It's a safe zone because it's very safe. You can walk down the street now and nothing's going to happen. No crime, no murders, no nothing. Because we had a lot of problems with certain places, and we still do. All run by Democrats, or for the most part, run by Democrats.
You heard him there call it a Democratic hoax.
Now, at the very same time that Trump is calling this a hoax, Massie and various other important political figures and also victims and women speaking out, saying this is not a hoax, and that's a slap in the face. And it's just such a weird, crazy situation. And it really does feel like the Twilight Zone.
That's even after all of what we've heard in the past hour from so many survivors of abuse detailing what they have experienced. I want to bring back our panel who is with me, and just let me come back to Eric Fudali, who has represented a number of Epstein survivors. The president now talking about other matters. What is your reaction to what we've been hearing this hour, and then what we just heard from the president?
I just don't understand what the hoax is. We just all watched as many survivors of Jeffrey Epstein told their story. I was fortunate enough to speak at the rally that was running parallel at the Capitol with multiple survivors of Jeffrey Epstein speaking about their truth, speaking about their stories, speaking about the fear he instilled, and just begging, all of us just advocating and begging this Department of Justice to release the files, stop slow rolling, stop giving us these behind the closed door interviews. Stop giving us bits and pieces. Stop giving Ghislaine Maxwell a platform. Just release the files. Where is the hoax? These are real victims, real survivors with real stories whose lives were devastated by Jeffrey Epstein and those who enabled him. And all they want is full transparency, full exposure, and full closure. There's no hoax. These are real people.
Yeah, Lisa, some of these women, as we mentioned, are speaking out for the first time today, telling their stories. It's got to be so incredibly difficult to relive the trauma, to put themselves out there. One of these women is Marina Lacerda, who was previously identified as minor number one. Haley Robson, describing being coerced into having to recruit more girls to work for Epstein and be exposed to his abuse, and what happened to her when a friend's stepmother eventually called the police. Let's watch.
The police treated me like a criminal. I had, by this time, had turned 18. I had been with Jeffrey since I was 16 and for 2 years. So they had told me so they told me I was going to be arrested. My name was then distributed to the press as a co-conspirator of my abuser, who I detested. My entire world was crashing in around me, and I started being threatened and bullied, till this day still receiving death threats.
Every time the truth threatens the powerful, they call it a hoax. Big Tobacco called cancer research a hoax. Nixon called Watergate a hoax. The Iraq War was built on what they claimed to be no hoax. Fake weapons of mass destruction, though, even Tuskegee survivors were told their suffering was just a rumor. What always comes with it? Donor money, lobbyists, campaign funds weaponized to crush the people that are speaking up. That's exactly what we're seeing again. Survivors begging for Epstein's files to be released. Billionaires in those files funnel millions into ads to silence that transparency. The hoax isn't the victims. The hoax is the cover-up. You've had Big Tobacco in the 50s all the way to the 90s. The Pentagon Papers in the Vietnam War in 1971. U.S. officials insisted progress was being made, called journalists exposing internal documents liars or agitators. Watergate from 72 to 74. Nixon called it a witch hunt. Tuskegee syphilis study from 1932 to 72 for decades. The government told black men that they were being treated for bad blood while denying real treatment. When exposed, officials claimed accusations were exaggerated rumors. Campaign-style messaging reinforced the lie until whistleblowers proved it. And then now we have the Epstein Files. Survivors are pleading for transparency. Trump calls it a hoax. Meanwhile, billionaires in Epstein's Black Book fund AIPAC and other various PACs targeting members like Massie who demand full disclosure. It's the same playbook. Dismiss the truth as fake, flood campaigns with money to silence the dissenters. So let's see what Patrick says about the current debate and why we're even talking about Epstein right now. what all this means and how he feels about it.
No one's going to be held accountable. Not 100%. It's never going to be 100%, just so you know that. Yeah. It's never going to be 100%. The reason why it's never going to be 100% is why? You don't have enough documents to prove. By the way, it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Yes.
But guess what the court needs?
Proof. Yeah, show me.
So I'm talking to one of the guys at school, and the dean at school, and he says to me, he says, Pat, if I get a claim, and if I don't have documentation, if I don't have anything, if I don't have videos, if I don't have anything, I move on. I can't do anything with it. Yeah. I need something and a couple other witnesses to say something like that happened. If they have it, they can do it. But watch this. If you don't believe anything can happen and nothing will be held accountable, why are we talking about it? Why are we talking about it? Why talk about it on the podcast? Why bring it up? What's the outcome of us talking about it?
I want them to know that we know. They know. But they know. We need to say it one time, and it's plenty. But actually think about to the core. Why do we talk about a certain story? How many times, Rob, would you say in all the podcasts in 2025? How many podcasts? Say we've done 2, 4, 8 times 7 months. Let's just say is what 56 out of the 56 podcasts we've done this year. How many times you think Epstein's been mentioned in one of those 56 podcasts?
Maybe a quarter.
Maybe a quarter?
25%.
I agree. So let's just say 14.
Higher than that, yeah. Go on.
Let's just say 14. Why are we talking about it? Actually ask the question, why are we talking about it?
Actually answer the question?
Yeah.
Because we have, we're at the point where we are right now because we know it's absolutely insane because they get away with murder, literally, that we want something to change, something to happen. I want justice for the...
Where does that come from? What emotion produces that? It's one word, and it starts with the letter H.
Hate?
It's one word. No, hope.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I hope that they're going to freaking...
Right. But guess what we need with hope? Hope is a very powerful thing. Mm-hmm. The moment you no longer think justice will be held, hope is gone. When hope is gone, what do people do? They give up. When people give up, what happens? More victims. So I believe even bringing it up, and now you're seeing Marjorie Taylor Greene. You're seeing Ro Khanna. You're seeing Massie. By the way, Marjorie Taylor Greene isn't part of the same camp as Massie. I think Massie's here. Marjorie Taylor Greene is here. Marjorie Taylor Greene was the one when Kevin McCarthy was up on there negotiating all this stuff, says, hey, pick up the phone, Trump. Like people forget who she is. She's like a America First Trump at the highest level. Now she's here. Rob, go on and play this clip.
The largest press conference that I've seen since I've been here. And this is because this is an issue that matters so much to Americans. This is an issue that doesn't have political boundaries. It's an issue that Republicans and Democrats should never fight about. As a matter of fact, it's such an important issue that it should bring us all together. It's grieved me to watch the arguments and debates take place among my colleagues and even the administration. I think this is something that was worth fighting for. You see, the women behind me are going to tell you stories that you've never heard before. These are unimaginable horrors that they've lived with for their entire lives since they were very, very young. But these are also similar stories that many children, teenagers, women, and even men are enduring nightmares right now as we speak.
You can pause it. So she goes on, and then Rob, there's another clip as well. What is the other clip that President Trump calling it a hoax? Go for it.
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends. You know, it reminds me a little of the Kennedy situation. We gave him everything over and over again, more and more and more, and nobody's ever satisfied. From what I understand, I could check, but from what I understand, thousands of pages of documents have been given, but it's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president.
Both can be right.
I know.
Why are you saying a hoax?
Yep, it's not a hoax.
Why don't you just say, let's see what happens? I've empowered my guys to find out.
So let me ask you a question then, Pat. Why would he say that? Why would the president of the United States say, which we all know is not true, that this is a hoax? There are women that are standing there that I guarantee would pass a lie detector test, that they were assaulted by Jeffrey Epstein. And here's my thing, Pat. They're saying, we have the names. We're going to put out our own list. Why don't they go in a session, bring them in there, bring the people in there? It'd be easy to corroborate with evidence of the footage that the FBI or somebody has, which, what is it, missing? They have the footage of Jeffrey's, of his house with all the footage. What are we even talking about?
If you want the truth, Share this with everybody that needs to see it. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Watch one of these videos or playlists. Hit that, and I'll see you in the next one.
AP on the beat.
They call me Yeah. They call me Tanks on Lock. Then Marjorie Taylor Greene, whatever you think of her, she's calling out the same network. Somebody's got to do it. AIPAC, Adelson, Singer, and the foreign lobby donor machine. These are the billionaires whose money shows up everywhere we look. Foreign aid votes, sealed Epstein files, now political hit jobs against the very people that don't want to speak for them. Not only that, they're speaking for the truth. First up, here's Massie laying it all out, followed by Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like, subscribe, let's run it.